Hey everyone, NicMakesPlays here. We have a lot going on. We just got the biggest balance change of all time, Legend Runeterra. Tons of new decks. It's been hard to even think of where to start to make videos, but I suppose I'll start with the new deck, Lurk. So Lurk is a deck that's pretty complicated. At first glance, it may seem like, oh, you put all the Lurk cards together in a deck, and that's how it works. But there's actually many different variants. Even here on my screen, I have 3 different variants of Lurk, and it's hard for me to even pick which one to showcase today. So I guess I'll just go with the very straightforward version, and then I'll show you the other 2. I'll make it pretty fast because there's tons of stuff to go over with Lurk, so let's just dive into it. So the Lurk variant I've been using recently in Masters is Pure Lurk, where you pretty much run all the Lurkers. The only non-Lurk cards you run are Bone Skewer and Ruthless Predator, and you use these because when you don't have a Predict in this deck, because you don't run Predict, you're basically going to hit most of the time, you're gonna hit your Lurk without needing a card like Failed Prescience, without a card like Aspiring Chronomancer. So I'll just go over this deck real quick, but I'll just say it's one of 3 variants in ways to play this deck. So the core of Lurk and the combos will be the same throughout all the variants, but I'll try and just quickly go over 3 different ways to play the deck, just so you can kind of pick and choose which one you like, because no one's really solved the deck building puzzle of Lurk yet, and I'm excited to see what it ends up being the most successful versions. So, without further ado, let's get into the deck. I'll go over Bloodbait in a second because it's kind of complicated. I guess first we'll start with what Lurk is. Lurk, when you attack while I'm on top of your deck, I Lurk, granting Lurker allies everywhere +1/+0, max once per round. So it's important to know that the act of lurking isn't the attack, it's actually the Lurker on top of the deck. So for example, if I attack with a card that's not a Lurker, like if I attack with Aspiring Chronomancer, I can still activate Lurk. The lurking is what happens from the card lurking that's on top of the deck. So Sharkling, very straightforward. Lurk, 1 mana, 1/2. Get stronger whenever you lurk. Bones. Oh, sorry, not there yet. Zurzai Hatchling, the other 1-drop of the deck. You have Fearsome. This one only has 1 health. Very straightforward. Very good in the early game to get in chip damage when your opponent isn't able to block the Fearsome. So that's good. 3 Bone Skewer. All my lists run 3 Bone Skewer. I tested with no Bone Skewer, 2 Bone Skewer, and it just turns out this card is way too important to the deck. This is one of your only forms of interaction in the entire deck, and it helps level up Pyke. It helps reuse Reksai and stuff like that. You can play Reksai, you can Bone Skewer it and kill one of their blockers, put on top of the deck and attack and get Reksai's effect, because Reksai gets an extra bonus if you lurk with her. But this is mostly just good removal, good interaction, and helps level Pyke. 3 Call the Pack. Okay, this is actually one of the more, I guess, skillful cards of the deck. So Call the Pack, we'll actually get into this with Bloodbait even more so later, but Call the Pack, we'll just read it. It has Lurk itself for a spell, which is really cool. To play, put a card from hand top of your deck, create 2 random Lurkers, followers in hand. So you want to be using this with Pyke or Reksai when you have them in your hand, and you put it on top of your deck and you attack, and then you get the guaranteed Reksai effect or Pyke effect, because they get extra bonuses, which we'll get to, when they're lurked on top of your deck. Particularly strong with Pyke. In this deck, I want to note that Pyke is a bit stronger than Reksai. Reksai is really good, and obviously like the second best thing after Pyke. But Pyke is just absolutely insane when you can hit, because he creates a spell called Death and Blow. Again, we'll get to Pyke in a second, but I want to note that Call the Pack is mostly used almost exclusively to put Pyke or Reksai on top of your deck, because that's where you get the real value. You can put things on top of your deck that are just regular Lurk cards to guarantee Lurk, but in a variant like this one, for example, where almost your whole deck is Lurk, then you don't really need to be doing that kind of stuff. It's really to reuse Reksai and to guarantee the Pyke gets lurked. 3 Redfoot Hammerstyle. This card's great. It's really good at hooking cards like Eye of the Dragon. Eye of the Dragon's very popular in this meta as Karma, Lee Sin, stuff like that, so it's good to give vulnerable to enemies that must be removed. It's also good at killing stuff like Azir, give vulnerable to permanent vulnerable. Also, Pyke has quick attack, so if you give vulnerable to something, and then you use Pyke's quick attack on it, then you're able to get a free kill. So, very good. 3 Ruthless Predator. Alright, this card is pretty insane. Most of my variants run 2, but this version runs 3. The only forms of spells it has, or non-lurk cards it has, are Ruthless Predator and Bone Skewer to kind of max out my interaction with my non-lurk cards. So you mostly want to use this to level up Reksai. I'll just show Reksai real quick, just so we know why. So Reksai levels up when she attacks with 10 plus power. So this is a very easy way to get Reksai to have that 10 plus power. And Reksai levels up, she gets Overwhelm. So you get Overwhelm, and you get the 10 plus power easily. Originally, when the deck first came out, a lot of people were running Shapestone, but it turns out that it's not really the best way to play the deck. Shapestone is a huge deck building cost. You want to run cards like Ancient Prevarium age preparations. Run cards like Preservarium, which is actually good to refuel even without the Shapestone. But basically, with Shapestone, you need to have at least 3 to 5 landmarks, and a lot of times it's not what you want in this deck, especially because they're all non-Lurk cards, unless you run Ripper's Bay, which isn't that great. So Ruthless Predator is just the easy way to get the Reksai levels up. Really good going for game with the Overwhelm from Reksai, the Overwhelm from Dunebreaker, the Overwhelm from the Under Titan. So very, very good stuff. This is just a very simple low deck building cost way to level Reksai, and also get Overwhelm kills. 3 Snapshot Swarm. We'll go over this more when we get combos with Bloodbait, which I'm excited about. Play, I start a free attack, so only 8 attacks. You mostly want to use this on your opponent's turn. This is how you lurk on your opponent's turn. So as we see, lurk here gives +1 to all lurker allies permanently. It grants them the +1. So you have to attack to get lurk, right? But this card does a free attack on your opponent's turn. That's as simple as that. You use this on your opponent's turn to get lurks. What you can do is if you can guarantee your Reksai's on top of your deck, then you get a lot of potency out of the Snapshot Swarm. I'll wait to Bloodbait, which I'll get to last. I'll explain how you can do that reliably. Alright, Reksai. This is one of the main win cons of the deck, or at least a huge way to push for game / get card advantage. So let's read, because it's kind of a complicated card. So 3 mana 3/6. At first it looks obviously overstated, but there's a reason why. When I lurker attack, grant lurker allies everywhere +1/+0. So you get the lurk regularly, right? The regular lurk on top of your deck, everything is +1/+0. Reksai gets an extra +1/+0, and it's also when it lurks. So this is on top of your deck, you give all your lurk units +2/+0 permanently. The downside is round end placement on top of your deck. So this doesn't go through, let's say it doesn't level up, then end of round goes on top of your deck. If they Icefall Archer and freeze it, it's usually a good way to stop it. It goes on top of your deck, or it can Sentry, it can stun it, just all kinds of stuff. But when you level it, not only does it get overwhelmed, and it doesn't go back to top of your deck anymore, so it just permanently stays on the field. When I level up, create 3 random lurkers in hand. So you get a ton of refuel. It's basically like, if you don't level it, you can go for big damage with it, but if you don't level it, it has a downside go back in your deck, but if you do, you get huge payoff. And its gem spell is Call the Pack, which is the card went over recently, or earlier. Very good. There are ways to reuse this many times. One main way is to Reksai, you use Call the Pack on it, put it on top of your deck before you attack, get the extra Reksai, and then again, Blooded Swarm, we'll get to it in a second. The Reksai Caller, I actually think it's one of the best cards in the deck, or at least brings that together as a functioning deck. 3 mana 2/3 lurk, play predicts, so this is really strong because when you play it, you get to pick to make sure you get a lurk on top of your deck. You also can put Reksai or Pyke on top of your deck to get even more bonuses. Very reliable card, good health stats, I like it a lot. Alright, Pyke. This card is the probably strongest card of the whole deck. Really crazy card, a lot of crazy combos. I'll definitely make sure I can explain to you in a way where you can get the most value, or you can do, I guess, higher level plays with it. But I want to say this is the most important card to lurk. This is stronger than even Reksai. When I lurk, transform me into Death from Below. So let's just read that real quick. So when this card lurks, it's on top of your deck, and you do the lurk. It transforms into this. 4 mana fast spell, summon Pyke striking an enemy. Very powerful. For a 4 mana fast spell that kills something and summons Pyke and helps his level up condition, very good. So his level up condition is allied Pykes have dealt 15 plus damage. Yes, you can have multiple Pykes. So if I have Pyke on the field, and then I play Death from Below, then that's 2 Pykes on the field. Very strong. Has quick attack, as I said, works well with the vulnerable fish, the Redfin Hammer Snout. Alright, now let's go over the leveled up form. When I lurk, transform me into Death from Below. When I kill an enemy, I strike the weakest enemy. Okay, so the first part, it already did that. The part it gains is when I kill an enemy, I strike the weakest enemy. So basically, when Pyke kills something, it goes on a chain, like a sequence, where it then strikes the next weakest unit they have. If it kills that, it strikes again. So they have 5 units, and Pyke can kill all of them, then he kills their whole field. An easy example would be, let's say we have Pyke, and he attacks and they block, right? And he kills the blocker. He'll then strike the next one, then the next one, the next one, the next one, the next one, and he kills their whole field. Now, this is particularly insane because of the way his level up works. Now let me show you. Allied Pykes have dealt 15 plus damage. Let's say you're at, let's just say you're at 13 out of 15, okay? And you Bone Skewer something. You use Pyke's Bone Skewer to make him strike an enemy. When he levels up, it happens immediately. So he doesn't have to be like, Pyke's already leveled up, then he strikes, then he starts killing everything. It counts as during the level up. So if you do, if you're 13 out of 15 and you strike something with Pyke, he levels up, and on that same chain, he begins the I strike the weakest enemy. So what you can do is if you have him at, like, let's say you lurked a bit, let's say you're at 7 out of 15, that happens all the time, and he's at 8 attack. If you Bone Skewer something, he'll kill their entire field, because the 8 damage he did from Bone Skewer levels him up, and then he begins the chain and starts killing everybody right away. That's really strong, because if he wasn't right away... Like, if you're first reading, you might think, oh, he has to be leveled up first, but no, he just has to complete the level up, and during that completed level up, he just starts doing it. Very strong. Pretty much the main card we've been predicting. Very, very good. I'll show you one of my other variants, ones with a lot of predict cards, to make sure you get it more reliably. So, very good. Also, cool things you can do is, like, if you have a non-level Pyke on the field and they try and kill it, you can Bone Skewer to put on top of your deck, and then attack with a Lurk, and then you get Death and Blow. Death Blow is one of the strongest cards in the deck. Pyke's very important, so very good. Alright. Xerath the Under Titan. 5-mana 2/6 Lurk. Attack. If I have 8+ power, give me Fearsome Overwhelm with Spell Shield this round. Very good. For a 5 cost, it's really strong because it has high health. You play it on turn 5 and you already have like 4 to 5 attacks, so it's like a 5/6 on turn 5. Now, I want to note that if you have this card, this is important for this deck if you want to play this deck. If you have the Under Titan and Reksai on the field, Reksai needs to attack first for it to get the bonus. And what I mean by that is, let's say that this is 6/6. It's Lurk, so it's a 6/6, right? If you want it to become an 8/8 on the attack and gain the Fearsome Overwhelm and Spell Shield, Reksai needs to attack before it. If it attacks it after it, what will happen is that Rex's effect won't go off until after the Under Titan attacks, and it will be a 7/6. And it won't gain the Spell Shield, Fearsome Overwhelm. But if Rex attacks it before it, that Reksai will go off, it'll become an 8/8, and then it'll get the Fearsome Overwhelm and Spell Shield on the attack. So make sure, just in short, you want to put Reksai attacking before the Under Titan. Very strong. 3 Doombreaker, just Overwhelm. It's kind of like Under Titan, more top end. And then 2 Jawfish. 8 mana, play. Each Lurker ally strikes a random enemy. Yeah, very insane. It usually has like 8+ attack, and then you just play it, and then your whole field just kills all your whole field. Basically a late game bomb. One of the main reasons I run so many Lurks in this variant is because I want to, without predicting, I just want to always hit Lurk, because a lot of times, even with a lot of predicts, every non-Lurk card really can alter the odds of hitting Lurk, and it just kind of falls apart a lot of time in the deck if you don't hit your Lurk. So again, I have 3 variants. I'll make them very quick, but I don't know which one's the best. They're all very different, so I just want to show all of them. This is the most generically simple one, so it just Lurks and stuff. But let's go over Bloodbait. All right. At first glance, this card may not look that good. Create 1 mana, create a Snapjaw Swarm on top of your deck. This is the Snapjaw Swarm. One nice thing is it's a Lurk card, so, you know, it helps your Lurk odds. All right, so you want to use this with a Reksai. Here's how you do it. Let's say you play a Caller, and you predict and you see Reksai, or oh, sweet Reksai. You attack, you get Reksai, giving everything the +2/+0 from the Lurk, and then when it Lurks, it gets +1. So you guys get +2/+0 when you Lurk with Reksai. So since Reksai's on top of your deck now, right, from the Caller, and you did the attack, then you play Bloodbait. You play Bloodbait and you know Reksai's on top of your deck, okay? So after you attack with Reksai. So Caller puts Reksai on top of your deck, attack +2/+0. Then you have Reksai on top of your deck, right? You gain the +2/+0, you play Bloodbait. Bloodbait makes Snapjaw Swarm go on top of the deck. So you draw Bloodbait, or you draw Snapjaw Swarm for turn, and that means Reksai's still on top of your deck. So then you play Snapjaw Swarm, you attack and get Reksai's effect again, allowing you to get +4/+0 on all your Lurkers over 2 turns from the double Reksai. So one more time to make it very simple. Caller, put Reksai on top of your deck, attack, get +2/+0. Bloodbait, then puts Swarm on top of the deck, draw Swarm for turn. Since, you know, you put Swarm on top of the deck, that means Reksai is the next card still. You play the Swarm, you get the Reksai bonus again. Very easy to get huge attack stats on all your units if you do this combo. That's why you run Bloodbait. Or that's how you use it. You don't want to use this just to guarantee Lurk, in this variant at least, because you have a lot of... this variant's mostly all the Lurks. But if you have a variant with less Lurks, you can do that sometimes. But you really want to max the value out of cards like Bloodbait and Call the Pack to hit Reksai and, you know, hit Pyke with Call the Pack too. So, this is one main variant. Very straightforward. I will very briefly go over the other variants because there are many different ways to play this deck. So, this one's just the pure Lurk. I like this, it's reliable and I hit Lurk all the time. This one runs more of the predicts. You run 3 Failed Prescience. This is not a Lurk card, but 0 mana predict. It lets you hit Pyke or Pyke or Reksai more often. It's a very powerful variant because it can hit super strong cards with that again more often. 1 Bloodbait for the Reksai combos. I like Bloodbait in this version. She has tons of predict. Chronomancer, this card is really good. I love this card. 2 mana 2/3, play predict. So it's a 2 mana 2/3 lets you hit your Lurk card or Pyke Reksai more often. Again, Lurking activates even if you're not attacking with the Lurker, because Lurking is the act of the Lurk on top of the deck. So you attack, you get the Lurk. this variant just basically hit Pyke and Reksai turbo in a way. You still run 3 Bone Skewer, 3 with this Predator is fine, and you don't run Dunebreaker. I mean, you can add this however you want. You can run 2 Predator. This is just a different variant to show that Feral Prescience and Chronomancer are pretty good. The other variant is more of a late game variant. A lot of people have been trying out this one, where it's more about kind of a slow game plan with Pyke and you refuel. So you run a Jawfish for the top end, you run Dunebreaker for more top end. But one of the main differences is you run Preservarium. When I'm summoned, draw 1, Countdown, draw 2, draw 1. You kind of slow it down. You just kind of play a mid-range game plan with this deck, and you're able to, you know, refuel, because a lot of things are set to removal. Let's say you play the other version with Feral Prescience. You run a card's pretty fast with that deck, because you're using a 0 mana that doesn't give you card advantage. It just puts a card on top of your deck. But you hit Pyke and Reksai more often to do powerful combos. That one's more of an aggressive version. This one's more of a slower, chill version. I've been doing really well with this Pure Lurk version for some reason. I guess it just feels reliable. So that's the version I'll go over today. I guess real quick, what are cards you could run? Lilith isn't worth a non-Lurk slot, just a heads up, so I won't go over it that long. It's just not powerful enough. Ripper's Bay is glitched right now, apparently, where like it doesn't work properly, but even if it did, it's just like not that good, honestly. It can be good in a variant with a lot of non-Lurk cards, but it's just like a one-mana do-nothing a lot of the time. I still kind of like it to activate Shapestone if you want to run Shapestone. If I'd say Ripper's Bay, you'd be for a Shapestone variant. But 3 Shapestone, not a bad card. Helps over Rek'Sai, get the +3/+1. Protects things like I play Deep a lot, and sometimes I use Devour on Rek'Sai, which has 6 health, but if they buff it with this, then it doesn't die to Devour the death, so this is a good way to go for protect your units and go for the Rek'Sai level up. Preservarium's obviously good. Rock Harbor's kind of cool, and Shapestone variants get things vulnerable. You can kill them with Pyke, use Quick Attack. I know some people right now are actually running copies of Rite of Negation. Kill an ally, destroy one of your mana gems, stop enemy spells. I guess it's like, you can make a strong board with this deck, you have tons of attack, and they have to break it, and then you just like stop the way they break it with Rite of Negation, or you go for game, and you stop how the, you know, whatever they try and stop you with, like Will Vionia or Kasapam with Rite of Negation. Very good. Good, it's opposing death from blows. Yeah, that's pretty much it, so let's get into some games. Alright, for today I'll be using the Pure Lurk variant I showed first. This one has just like all the lurks. It's pretty reliable at hitting the lurk keyword. So, we're playing this Freyr PNZ No Champion. This could be all kinds of things. Ironically enough, Yetis and Poros are really good right now, and Alex are like decent. So I'm gonna mull just to keep Sharkling, and then I kind of just want to get early game units. Mulling's one of the more skillful parts of this deck, but you mostly always want to mulligan for early game units to get Lurk with. So we have Call the Pack plus Reksai, so later in the game we can do these together to ensure we hit Reksai for the Lurk and get the extra +1/+0. So he can't Thermogenic Beam this because it has 2 health. This is one of the perks of this one over the Hatchling turn 1. Against decks that run Thermogenic Beam, I don't know if this does or doesn't. But against like Ezreal decks, this is Poros. Poros are actually pretty popular right now. Wow, we hit Reksai naturally. So you hit Reksai, obviously you get the extra attack. Another purple thing pops up. Alright, this time for Rio we're playing as Hecarim Azir. Hecarim just got buffed to have extra health stats. Maybe that's why he's playing it. Alright, so I'm gonna mull like this. Some people like to keep Pyke in case they hit Call the Pack. I personally don't like doing that because if you don't hit Call the Pack, like you want to have the highest odds you can of hitting this with the predict, especially with the there's a lot of predict. It's just like I'd rather just have a chance of hitting this naturally than waiting for Call the Pack. So we're gonna keep a simple mulligan here, 1-drop, 2-drop. I want to also note something about Pyke. Oh, okay. Well, we got an amazing hand. Interesting. So we have the Sharkling. Later we can use Call the Pack on Pyke. This is very strong considering that. Oh my god, what is his hand? Alright, so we're going to do the Call the Pack on Pyke. Now we're able to guarantee we draw Death from Below for turn. I want to show that Pyke's face pops up. This is what I'm going to talk about. I kind of stopped talking about mid-sentence. Pyke's face pops up if you missed it. They can't see this, okay? So when you lurk Pyke, his face pops up on top of the deck. Only you can see it. So if I didn't put Pyke on top of my deck and I just attacked, I always look at the top of my deck to see if I hit Pyke. So now I know I hit Pyke, which is pretty cool. So my deck has a lot, and I mean a lot of Lurk. This is a version that runs mostly all Lurk cards. This is why I like it. It's reliable to go for things for Snapshot Swarm without thinking I'm going to miss, so I'll go for this. pretty high chances we're going to hit this because, again, I'm running 6 non-Lurk cards. So I can safely go for this, and he can't just block it with the Azir. Very good. I also like Red Fun Hammer Snout here because we can give this the vulnerable. We'll block here to keep some health because I think this deck can probably do a ton of damage pretty fast. Alright, another Snapshot Swarm. We want to use this on our opponent's turn to make sure we get Lurk. Our turn, their turn, our turn, their turn. We could just play this. I think we'll probably just... For now, we'll hook. We can attack like this, and what it can do is it can put it in range of a death from below, which I like a lot. Since we have 3 Pyke, which is very rare, it's not that unlikely that we'll be able to level Pyke this game. Alright. Goes to 1 health there, pretty good. So you can only Lurk once per turn, so if we were to play Snapshot Swarm there, we wouldn't get a Lurk. That's why I want to save it for our opponent's turn. This could be good in the late game if they make it that far, that is. We can do Death Blow plus Snapshot Swarm. We can do all kinds of different things. So right now we're at +3. So if I go like this, we'll just kill that. I'm going to go ahead and do that now and see how he responds. I don't want to commit to the Snapshot Swarm. I'd rather kill this first so we can block the Snapshot Swarm well. I don't need to kill Azir because it's already permanently vulnerable. The quick attack can clean it up too, which is nice. Desert's Wrath. Okay. So let me show you guys something cool we can do with Pyke. So we'll pass here. We'll probably attack with these. Alright, so Pyke here is really good at blocking against like Azir Relia Sand Soldiers because they help level him. Once we do this, we'll already be well on our way to leveling him up. What we can honestly do is we can just kill his whole field with Pyke whenever we want. I guess we won't do it now. I'll show it in a cooler way in a second. But this is a 10 out of 15, so if we Bone Skewer, it'll just blow up his whole field. Alright, we'll play this here. We missed our Lurk, but that's fine. Not really a big deal, we're just so far ahead at this point. Alright. So here's what we're going to do, guys. I'll kind of go out of my way to show you this combo because I just think it's cool. We'll play the Under Titan, right? He's probably going to play a unit, and when he does, I can just Pyke and blow up his whole field. I guess we don't even have to use the Bone Skewer. The quick attack here will just end up killing his whole field on attack. I hope he doesn't concede because I want to show you guys this. This is one of the main reasons this deck is so good. Alright, so watch this. Alright, so we go in for the kill here. Pyke's quick attack will clean this up, and then it'll kill his whole field with a level up. Just in a second. Alright, so we Lurk. We get Reksai. Pretty cool. I could have done this prematurely just to go for game. Or just to go for huge damage. Like getting the blockers first, but I want to show you guys this. So we attack here. He gets it as he levels up. He goes to strike next weakest unit, he kills it, and it continues. When I kill an enemy, I strike the weakest enemy, so it just keeps going. And then now we have board clear. We have 3 board clears actually in our hand. No matter what he does, I can just Bone Skewer on Pyke, and then it'll clear his whole field. I guess here we can just pass. He might play more units. Either way, it should be fine. Alright, so we let this go. We do a Pyke's Bone Skewer. We'll do it on this one. He has no mana to defend himself. And Pyke will clean up his whole field again. Hopefully won't surrender, because it'd be cool to also show you guys the Reksai level up here in a second. Alright, very strong. We can replay this Pyke from our hand. Okay. Yeah, we basically just infinitely board cleared him. Very, very strong stuff. Alright, we're playing as Pyke Reksai, one of the more popular decks in the game right now. Actually, I used to hit Masters this season. Let's see what we can do. Against this matchup, you definitely need a ton of low-cost blockers, but if you miss your Lurk turn 1, you're going to be so far behind. I'm going to full mulligan for 1-drops because they're good at blocking and good offensively in this matchup. We got 1. We got Xerxes hatching on 1. We have Snapshot to play on 2. Hopefully get some good Lurks in. If we get with this Predator off, it could be a good way to level Reksai. So we'll attack here. Look for Pyke's face. Don't see it. We also look at the purple, like a lightning, so we know we get a normal Lurk card for draw. Pretty good, actually, considering that the lower cost cards are good in this matchup. 1 health's a bit risky in this matchup, because they do have the in Naked Rain's Misfortune, but right now he can't really afford those, so it's fine. Alright, get some chip damage in, we can try and race him down. I honestly think I'm going to block with this. I know it's weird to just fearsome, but having 1 health is a big liability against Pirate Aggro, again because of Naked Rain and Misfortune. So I'm just going to go ahead and play it safe here. Wow. We have Xerxite Collar. We can choose what we draw. Alright, Pyke. This is, we basically, I don't say we win for sure, but Pyke is really good in this matchup. We'll attack with both because he can't block with this, because it'll get a bad trade for both of these. This is good for him because he'll get a Gangplank trigger, but it's definitely worth it to push damage, kind of race him down, so he'll have to use like Noxian Fervors defensively, which is saving us health later. Death from Below is a really insane card, so he might even just concede here. Hopefully he doesn't, because it'd be cool if we drew Reksai to show off how good his Roots of Predator to level up. Alright, attacks here. We don't want this to die, obviously, so we're just going to block with the Snapshot Swarm. Pretty strong. As you see now, he's very far behind. His blocker's not that great. We're up in health. We have a Pyke on the field. Overall, looking really good. Okay, we'll start with this card because it doesn't die to Naked Rain. So he doesn't know how many more units we can put out. But this is the safest bet, because playing this could maybe... I don't even know if using Naked Rain is particularly good, but it's more dead if we don't let it kill anything. This player is also pretty good to help level up Pyke, and the quick attack's good to get free kills as well. I think I'm just gonna play this now and see what we hit. Nothing. Okay. So we now know we're no longer hitting a Lurk on top of our deck. We have like their Bone Skewer with this Predator on top of our deck. Those are the only ones we have. I don't know why he wouldn't block that with this. He's just gonna take even more damage this way. No downside to not using with the Predator this turn. We can just save it for Reksai level up or Pyke level up later. So if he goes to 3, he shouldn't be able to do 14 with this weak of a hand. Even with Gangplank, I don't even believe it's leveled quite yet. And if he can level it, I still don't think it's enough. Alright, root this Predator. This should be a solid way to go for game with Dunebreaker. Dunebreaker can just hook whatever and use the Overwhelm to finish the job. Here, we definitely want to block with, I think, Pyke, actually. See, if I block with this, it's kind of awkward. Because we could lose to, like, a Keg plus Naked Rain, and we lose our win con. I guess I'll just play it safe and use Pyke. As weird as that is, because Pyke's very good. But I think that there's no out to Dunebreaker plus Roots Predators here. So let's just play it safe. And we're at so much health, we should be fine here, even after 3 damage. It'd be cool if I drew Reksai here to show you his level up, or her level up. But we're probably just gonna go for a game here with the Dunebreaker. Alright. Pretty easy cleanup here. Just go with the Overwhelm. GG's. Alright, that's my Lurk guide. Lurk's one of the coolest new decks out of the new expansion. It has 2 out of 3 champions that were revealed between Echo, Reksai, and Pyke. It has Reksai and Pyke. So I hope you guys liked it. I guess things to keep in mind are the Bloodbait combos with the Reksai wasn't able to show too much, and also leveling Reksai gives you 3 cards to your hand. With this Predator makes it easy level Reksai, and push for huge, huge damage with her Overwhelm. So very good stuff. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll be making videos soon on Echo Zillion, maybe Poros, all kinds of new stuff. There's just an infinite slew. Again, this is the biggest balance change we've ever had in Legend Runeterra, and I'm really excited to show you guys all the decks. So let me know in the comments below what you guys want to see and what decks you enjoy, and comments in the video. And I'll catch you guys later. Peace.